Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. We had just had a very educational experience at the Dream Vacations National Conference. You're not going to want to miss what we have to share. But before we do, please be sure you subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And want to give a shout out to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. Thank you, Nick Menard.
You're welcome. Hello, Will winners.
Hello. So it was actually due to Nick Menard and Associates that we were at the Dream Vacations National Conference. So for our longtime winners and listeners, you know we went last year and we talked about it. This was a different experience on a different ship, but lots to share. We actually did the land portion of it besides the cruise portion of the conference, and very insightful. But let me pass the baton over to the head cheese, Mr. Nick Menard, to share more about the conference.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Will, for the introduction.
Sure.
It's going to be a dialogue. It's not going to be all about me. Like, relax. You're not going to hear my... Apparently, I have an accent. That's what I heard, but I'm not sure. I thought you all
I heard I had an accent.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. And it's not a pretty one. Anyway, it's a cheesy one.
Yeah. That's all right. I like cheese.
Yes. So once a year. So just to put everything into, in line. So basically, with the travel agency, we have different kind of educational events during the year. The main one is the national conference, where all the agencies getting together, and usually it's a week on a ship. So it's 7 full nights. And what happened is that it's a time for everybody to learn, connect with each other, and connect with the vendors. So all the major vendors, which are like 50 plus vendors, are going on that ship. And they are there to connect with us and to build relationship and share what's coming and what works, etc., like every business. Then there are different summits. So the summits are basically like help us to be profitable as an agency. And you have, I think, 6 or 7 of those during the year in different areas. So people usually choose one that they want to go to. Again, it's a 1099 kind of business, so it means that nothing is mandatory. Mm-hmm. But if you want to be successful in anything in life, you need to learn about it.
Oh, right.
And the best way to learn about it is to be around people who are successful with it. Mm-hmm. And then you learn from people firsthand. And that's what I love about it. Yes, training is always good, but I can do it online. But the ability to connect with peers and pick their brains about why they are so successful. And none of the people I meet, and no disrespect, I don't look at any of them and say I cannot do what they do. Mm-hmm. And that's what motivates me every single year. I'm like, there is no way that someone who makes millions of with commissions can do something that I cannot replicate. And that's what motivates me to continue to grow and learn in this industry, because they are all very normal people, meaning you don't need to have like a PhD +5 or coming from a rich family or anything like that. It's literally you put in the work, you are consistent in your marketing, consistent with your follow-up, consistent with your referral progress, and you will be successful. There is no secret in this business. You don't have to be Elon Musk to be making money. And that's what motivates me in this industry, because I will achieve whatever I want to achieve because I put the time and effort into it. Mm-hmm. Anyway, and then after that, you have some specific summits. So you have a summit for river cruising summit, which is once a year, and it's always another destination. It's usually in Europe, of course. You have a land summit, which is always in a very beautiful resort somewhere in the Caribbean. You have luxury summit. Sorry, thank you. Which is once a year in a beautiful hotel, usually like to talk. Where in those summits you have people. In the land summit, you have all the land vendors. In the luxury summit, you have all the luxurious vendors who are coming to just share how to sell their brand, how to market their brand. I don't like to use the word sell for that because you don't sell anything, because if the people travel, they will get to you. But you need to be able to know how to market it and to know how to handle those clients, because they're all different. And you have a couple of other summits for IT or for marketing thing, but you have a lot of tools in your disposition. And the national conference is the biggest one. You have 1,000+ agencies who are coming. You have, like I said, 50 to 100 vendors who are there, and it's literally a time to celebrate our success during the year and to connect. And so this year was a little bit different, because instead of having 7 nights, so they always choose a newer ship to do the national conference on. So I've been on a Norwegian cruise. There was a carnival, the new carnival celebration 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. Last year was celebrating Ace Ascent. And this year was Princess Star. The reason why we did only 5 nights and 2 nights land, like you mentioned, in Hilton, in Fort Lauderdale before, is because the new ship Princess Star do not have 7-night sailings. They 5-night sailings. That's why it was 2 nights prior in Hilton, where we do the same thing we do on the ship, but in land, and then 5 nights to experience the ship. The episode last week, we talked about the experience and the ability to continue that. Next year, newsflash, it's going to be Royal Caribbean Star. So it's going to be the one that I've been on the inauguration sailing with Tyler a couple of months ago. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the experience was great. So learn tons from vendors, updated a lot of things, know what's coming. So all the new ships were in construction, all the resort were going to come up. So this was great to be able to do so. But my message is, if you are in the travel business, or if you are in any business, spend time connecting with people that you want to eventually emulate, because the best way to do it is to do it live on an event like that. And if you're on a ship, nobody can leave. So literally, and that's literally what you do, because they have one night is a ceremony for the award ceremony. When you see all the vendors, which are hundreds of vendors that comes up on the screen, and you have the top 3 producer, and they give an award for the winner, and et cetera, et cetera. But you see all those people, so you can take a picture and then remember which one is. So if you want to focus at something very specific, like Disney, for example, and you see who is the top 3 seller of Disney and who is the winner, I want to know their name if I want to focus on Disney, for example, and I will just meet them at night during the reception we have every evening, and I say, hey, congratulations for the award. And people are just so open, because there's business for everybody, and they just share what they do, and you learn. And I learned a lot of things from people. Like, I'm like, are you really doing something that simple and it works? I'm like, yeah, but I'm consistent with it. And that's the main word for everything that they do: consistency. Because everybody are great to do something once or twice,
Right.
but not a lot of people are great doing things non-freaking stop.
Right.
And that's the secret. And that's why I love, and that's the big word, what I love about this conference.
No, it's awesome. And I think for people who are newer agents or who haven't attended before, some of the things that, I guess logistically, because you sent a great broad picture about it on that one. I think some of the things, like when I was going through the sessions, because you can select certain sessions you want to go to, but some reserve quicker than others and run out of space. So it's like any event. If anyone's ever gone to any kind of work-related event or whatever like that, there's usually sessions where they reach capacity quickly. So one recommendation I would have, if this is the first time you're considering going to the national conference like this, is as soon as you can, select your sessions and pick them early, so you can get your first choices on things like that. But there's so much information, and they repeat sessions, so it's not like it's only one time. But it was neat doing the land portion first versus just on the cruise, only because it was kind of just a different vibe. And then you got invited, to a special event with Worldia. I didn't know if you wanted to chat about that, but that was kind of cool because that's something that doesn't happen for just anybody.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was selected by Worldia, which is the number one land provider worldwide for, any land. Like if you do like hotel, transportation, activities anywhere in the world. So they are a huge European based vendor, but they do worldwide. And they asked me to be one of the 7 or 8 ambassador for United States based on the amount of sale, based on the feedback and everything like that. So I was excited to be able to go there. And then you came with me because you're part of the agency. And they were really great. So they gave us like a bunch of goodies, but those that you actually use. So that
Yeah.
was actually very good. But also the ability to connect with, again, 6 or 7 other agencies who are actually top performer in land
Mhm.
and be able to hear the way that they're doing things. So it was literally like a meet and greet, but it was 3 hours, I think. So we just start with cocktails, like just networking, because
Yeah.
that's a relationship business. That's not a
Mhm.
sale industry. It's a relationship business. And then after that, they reserve like a room inside that nice resort in Fort Lauderdale,
Mhm.
and they literally had slides where they present where they're going to, like what's gonna happen soon, and then they ask for feedback.
Mhm.
And usually I love that because they want to hear from top producer
Mhm.
agencies why we love working with them, what could they do better, how can we influence other agencies to use them more, versus because there's so much competition for them,
Yeah.
as vendor you have hundreds, thousands of vendors. So so that was a good informative session where we can provide feedback. And I did something similar with Worldia last year, not as an ambassador because it's a brand new program that they started, but just about feedback.
Mhm.
And everything I said, 90% of the thing I said, because it's never 100%, they just they just change. They just
Mhm.
make the adaptation, which I love. They
Mhm.
listen. They literally listen to us.
Right.
and and yeah, so it was a very good session of learning and sharing best practices and feedback. And yeah, more to come about that, but it's going to be a great journey next year as ambassador to be able to promote
Mhm.
that and continue to have the best information for my client and for all clients when they want to travel the world. Closer to the source is always good.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that scenario. But again, like it was in land,
Yeah.
so I recently received an email a few weeks prior saying like, "Hey Nick, we would love to have you as an ambassador." The day it started at 5 p.m. or something. So I said, "Can you come at 1 p.m.?" It's like a few blocks from Hilton, and we want to invite you there and have that reception and that learning session. And it was fantastic. But that's easier to do on land than it would be on the ship.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I think the other thing that was really cool about it, and like you were mentioning earlier, is you go to these things, you network, you learn. Well, in that environment, obviously you have the vendors who are going to share what they're doing. But to your point, the fact that you could hear from other top performers what they really liked about it, what were the areas of opportunity. The CEO was scribbling notes like
Mm.
crazy, like he was jotting them down all over. But as somebody like myself who is a newer agent and not as extensive experience, like just hearing it, it felt like it gave me like an accelerated PhD. Like if I was going to use Worldia, be way smoother for me to understand where they excel, what are some things I may want to double check and just do, but have the confidence in being able to do that, all from just having that interaction versus trying to learn everything online or talking to the business development representative, which would be extremely helpful as well. But it's just a different way of learning, you know?
Yeah, and it's the beauty. And yeah, good to mention. I mean, I forgot to mention. So people from Worldia who were there. Don't forget, they are located in Berlin,
Hmm.
and the CEO is in Paris.
Hmm.
The CEO was present. The head of sales US was present. The head of Canada was present, and the COO, the Chief Operation Officer worldwide, was present.
Hmm.
So they literally invest in 4 people flying into Florida, create that ambassador division just to be able to get better.
Hmm.
And that says a lot for me. I mean, I haven't been and continue to be in different industry. This is not something you see often.
Right.
So it was amazing. And like you said, the owner Erwin, he was literally writing notes on his computer like non-freaking
Yeah.
stop. I don't know how many
Yeah.
page he had, but he cares. And that's
Yes.
something I love to see. And I'm pretty confident that within 6 to 8 weeks, he's going to come back with his feedback and what he's going to do at what timeline and timing. I love that
Mhm.
because you want to partner with companies who care about your implication about growing their brands, because at the end of the day, if we sell more, we're gonna make more money as an agency, we're gonna make them more money as a vendor, and everybody wins. And then the
Mhm.
client will benefit from it because they will get so much more better service, because we can provide the information needed for the client to be able to have a smooth um like travel. Like last year, I mentioned it would be good to have like an application. So
Mhm.
when the client, because it's not like a cruise when you go on Saturday at 10 a.m. and then you're on the cruise and then it's over.
Yeah.
Here it's like you go to Paris, then from Paris you go to Normandy, then you go to Berlin, then you go to Auschwitz in Austria, like it's Band of Brother
Mhm.
thing, for example. It's not like building something when you have transfer, hotels, activities, private guides. It's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's very important that um, the client know day by day what to do, because I want to have this for them to have the smoothest possible experience.
Mhm.
And so why not have an application when they just look at the app every day and know what to do? Bam, now they have an app. So now every time that I use Worldia, at the end, when the booking is done, they receive literally an application to download, and then they can look at everything offline. So once they download it on the app, it's done. They can look at it even if they don't have internet, which is always
Mhm.
important when you travel worldwide, because sometimes you don't have the right reception and stuff like that. Here they
Yeah.
have it on the app, so there is no surprise.
Yeah.
So again, that's one example, but that was definitely needs for them to do that.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And I think for some people, again, if you're a newer agent, you're considering going to the conference, you may be thinking, "Oh, is it all work?" And I'll channel my Shining thing from the movie The Shining. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. No, there's time.
Oh
So
yeah.
there's ports you can get off and do, and leisure time. And I think the thing that always impresses me, this is my second one now, and what impresses me about Dream Vacation and Cruise One Holdings is they really do a great job of giving a family feel, like whether it's the awards reception or just the different things that they do in the morning sessions, before the vendors talk about the different things they're talking about. But then at night, you got that reception, and I think that's a hidden gem from the standpoint of, and you already touched on it, but just to kind of double click on it. So you go to these sessions, you're meeting these vendors, you're meeting other top agents or franchise owners around the world and what they're doing. And then you have a chance to just casually chat with them, but every night is a theme. So not only are you having fun and, free drinks and hors d'oeuvres, but there's some dress up theme, which is always fun. So it adds some levity and that openness. And I think that's the other thing that's critically important. If you're somebody who's a little more introverted, or maybe even a little shy, or you feel a little awkward in some of those settings, this is one of those settings that's easy to interact with people because they're so friendly. And to your point, giving, because there is a lot of business out there, and there's not any of this, oh well, I'm not going to answer that. I've never You're really great at asking a lot of questions, and I'm listening a lot of times because you're asking great questions, but I've never heard somebody like shy away from sharing their nuggets of knowledge with you.
No, it's great. In beginning, like when you start, you are the one asking all the question,
Hmm.
and now you start having people coming and ask, can I get some time with you to see?
Hmm.
So it's pretty cool. It feels good to have that. I still have a million things to learn, but it's good to be able to give back to some people. I remember I had like a lady who was a new owner who came to me one day. I was at a casino and said, "Hey, I just learned so much about you by someone else. Can I spend some time asking you some question?" I'm like, sure. So I just sat down and just help her with the question she had. And I said, you can reach out anytime. And it's the way this industry is,
Hmm.
like it's a lot of it's a lot of helping each other. And I don't know a lot of industry that it's like that, because we all self-employed. We all have our own business, but we all know that there is so much business on travel business. World Travel Holding, which is, they own Dream Vacation. That's a multi-billion-dollar company. Just to give you an example, number-wise, I'm not gonna, bring tons of data, but next year, Dream Vacation is gonna reach $1 billion revenue, just Dream Vacations, and it's a little part of World Travel Holding, and they will reach $1 billion next year. Like, it's insane to think about. And the owner of Dream Vacation, the World Travel Holding, with Brad Token, he was there. He's there every year, and he's the most approachable person. I remember last year, introduced you to him, and you went shake his hand and start chatting with him. In what industry can you go to the CEO randomly and have a drink with the person, and the person is so freaking open to help you with it in any way? The head of sales for Dream Vacation, Drew Daly, he's the funniest guy on earth, and he's literally there every time for everybody to help, and he wants to take picture with you. He wants to interact with you. He always asks, how is the business doing? I mean, I see the number, you're doing pretty good, but anywhere we can help you. I mean, it's just another kind of, I've been to so many different industry. I never had an industry that it's so wide open. And I think it's because it's travel, it's fun. We don't sell insurance. And I think that having those connections help eventually, because you just gravitate towards that. And like you mentioned, every evening, 6 to 7 p.m., we have a part of the ship is reserved for Dream Vacation, so no one else can get in. And then you get, and it's DJ. There is fun atmosphere. Everybody talk to each other. Everybody take picture with each other. It's just a fun atmosphere. You don't feel like you work. But if you don't go to connect, then you're missing out, because it's literally the main reason why we're there is to make those connections.
Right.
But like you mentioned, even if you're an introvert, it's impossible that you get into talking with someone in those events.
Yeah.
Because that, and then you mentioned the session. I would be remiss to forget to say that. So there are general session during the C days. So the day that we're not going anywhere, every morning from 8:30 to 12, there's a general session. General session is 20 minutes, each vendor have 20 minutes to talk about updates, what's coming, news, stuff like that. And there are some Q&A, there's some stuff like that. But there's like 1,000 people. It's usually in the theater. And then the session you mentioned that are like specific session to reserve, that's in the afternoon. And then so people can go and learn about specific topic, but it's limited because it's usually in a bar, in a restaurant. So those seats are limited. That's why. But you have multi times during the week opportunity to have those session. So it's very hard to miss it if you wanna attend. But yeah, and then you have open hour with vendors. When you go and you sit down, you just see all the vendors sitting in table. You go and you sit with the vendor and you ask any question you have. You connect. I have people like who are already scheduled for trainings for me and my team. People come from the podcast. So that's how you make all those connections.
Yeah, and I think so. The way you described it, and then for people who have been to expos, it's basically an expo with all the vendors. So like one of the things I would recommend is as you hear some of the presentations from the general session, if something resonates and you'd like to learn more, go to that expo and meet with that vendor and ask them more questions. Like sometimes you may have to wait a little bit because there's a lot of people there talking, but I remember I never had a problem. Like anyone I really wanted to talk to, I ended up being able to talk 100%. To. Yeah. So
that's a big plus and a big advantage to do those conferences. And of course, when you do summit, it's a lot smaller. So you can definitely connect in a deeper level with vendors and peers and things like that. But it's very specific. Here is like everybody. And then for people who ask, like who are in the industry, said, okay, well, is it free? No, because nothing is free.
Right.
But they literally do not charge fees for the trainings and everything. You just pay for the cruise. The land portion, you pay for the hotel, but we had like preferred ratings. And I think the session, they ask $150 for the 2 days, but we get champagne, we get bunch of things. And it's 100% write-off because it's for your business. So you need to invest time and very little amount of money in this business, but you need to do some in order to learn and to be able to prosper in your industry. And compared to other industry I was on or still on, it's very small fee compared to what other business needs to do for the license, for anything like that.
Oh yeah, national conference. It's once a year, and again, it's not all work. Although that's the primary intent is to invest in yourself and your knowledge and your business. But there's some fun built in as well, besides just the hour happy hour we were talking about. But you do get to go on land when they're at port and stuff like that. So again, if you're an agent and you're serious about building the business, I can't imagine why you wouldn't want to make that investment. Like it's just there's too much you can get out of it in a short window of time and in a fun experience. Like it's not a drag. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you listen to this and you are interested to become an agent or to learn more about an agent, I'm always open to listen because we continue to grow. We are now in different state, more to come, but we have like some people who are in training right now in other states and Florida. So the company, the agency is growing, and we're not going to go anywhere because I believe in this industry very much. And when I see the numbers of trends about travel since COVID, it's triple digits growth every year, and it's not gonna going anywhere. When you see the amount of ships going on the fleet until 2034 so far that we see, it's gonna almost double the capacity of ships on ocean cruising. So those investment would not be made if it was not because the travel industry is booming. River cruising more than double by 2024 just because of just with the capacity of the new ships coming in from the known brands and no even new brands coming up or ocean um, cruise lines who are going into river cruise line like Celebrity, who just announced that, and they opened already the first year sailing, and they're gonna start selling in 2027. And so it's more and more. It's because the demand is higher than supply, and that's how you are an industry that's growing. And so, and I don't even start talking about land because that's even bigger land right now. So it's a fun industry to be in. It's work because no business or no work.
Right.
It's work. It's a lot of learning, but it's amazing when you have a client coming back and said, "Oh my God, this experience I will never forget," and then they want to know about the next one, and that there is no bigger gratification than to have that happening. And then don't forget that this is a business of like a people business. And so when you sell something one time, I guarantee they're coming back. Unless they have bad experience, but it's less than 1% of the time that we hear something negative. So all those people will continue to travel year over year, some more than once a year, and they will continue to use you because they had a good experience one time. Yeah. So it's I love it personally.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I think the last thing I'll just say from my perspective on it is a lot of times as an agent, you haven't been everywhere in the world, most to say. But you hear other people or you hear about their clients who went to places, and it equips you with bringing to life the potential experience. Like I always come back to Antarctica because before I got in the travel industry, I would have never considered Antarctica. And on this conference, I even learned more about Antarctica than what I learned before. And so things like that can really accelerate your knowledge and your ability to delight your clients, and also open up your eyes for an experience that maybe you hadn't considered before, like for me with Antarctica. And it's really fascinating. So definitely worth the time, worth the investment, and highly recommend.
Yeah. Last thing as well, quickly. I was on a dinner with some other agent at some point on the ship, and that was a company, an agency who started in 2014, so 11 years. The gentleman is 70 years old, and the wife is 66, and they travel 6 to 7 months a year. So they're on the road 6-7 months a year, traveling everywhere you can imagine. And I ask the difficult question: what is your favorite destination? And without 1 second of hesitation, they both together say Antarctica. and they hate the cold. And that's literally me, like, and it's insane that they travel to Fiji, to Bali, to Maldives, to everything, all everywhere in Asia and in Europe and Africa, safari, everything. And they said, if we have news from the doctor, we have X amount of time to live, and we can do one more vacation, Antarctica, and they go every 2 years. They said it's different every single day that you open the window, or the balcony. It's different. It's the most amazing place on earth, and I hear that nonstop, more and more. But that's testimony from such a well-traveled, COE, so it means Center of Excellence. So they're top 2% travel agent in the world, and they are actually saying Antarctica as people who hate the cold, and that says everything you need to say. So if you've never been to Antarctica, Will said as well, it's literally the place you want to go.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Any last closing thoughts about the conference you want to share?
I mean, do it. If you want to go and travel in the travel industry, do yourself a favor and go to a conference. You will learn more than 6 months of learning online.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's end on that note, because that's a great note to end on. And there you have it, winners. So thank you for tuning in for this Wanderlust Wednesday. Please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow 2 for the Win on your favorite platform. And if you are considering to be an agent or get into the business, contact today's sponsor, Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations. So that'll do it for this Wanderlust Wednesday, winners. Take care.
Bye, winners.